Just give me a chance, I said aloud, as Marilyn walked in from the garage, her expression shifting from curiosity to unease. I was sitting at the center of the kitchen, near the laundry room, with a small table positioned in front of me. On it lay a few carefully chosen items that gleamed under the harsh kitchen lights, a strange collection of objects for what was about to unfold. She paused at the threshold, keys dangling in her hand, her brow furrowing. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice tinged with suspicion. I leaned back casually, pretending this situation was completely normal. "Nothing serious," I replied smoothly. "Just thought we could do a fitting." "A fitting?" She frowned, stepping closer. "For what exactly?" I reached across the table and picked up a polished metal device, holding it up between us like a jeweler displaying a rare gem. "This," I said with a practiced calmness. "Apparently, it needs to fit just right for it to work." Her confusion morphed into shock. "Brandon, what the hell is that?" I smiled faintly. "A chastity cage," I said matter-of-factly. "You know, one of those devices men wear to keep things under control. I figured it might come in handy." She blinked, utterly bewildered. "Are you out of your mind? Is this some kind of sick joke?" I shrugged, maintaining my composure. "Not really a joke," I said, "though it might sound funny at first. It's just that, well, I thought it was time I embraced my role properly." "Role?" Her voice wavered. "What role?" I leaned forward slightly, my gaze steady. "The cuckold," I said bluntly. Her face drained of color, lips parting in silent disbelief. "What are you talking about?" I gestured casually toward the small key dangling from my fingers. "Traditionally, the wife wears the key around her neck. It's symbolic, you know? That way, after your bull finishes satisfying you, you decide whether or not your husband gets any leftovers." Her expression twisted into a mixture of horror and rage. "What the actual hell, Brandon? Have you completely lost it?" I tilted my head, pretending to think it over. "Not really," I said lightly. "I just figured since you've been seeing Kyle Jenkins behind my back, it was only fair to make things official." The blood drained from her face. How do you know about that?" "Oh, Marilyn," I sighed. "You really thought I wouldn't notice? The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the sudden obsession with yoga. You even started humming that god-awful Coldplay song every time you came back from class. You weren't exactly subtle." She stumbled back, visibly shaken. "It wasn't what you think," she stammered. "It was a mistake. Just a mistake." I arched an eyebrow. "A mistake that happened repeatedly?" Tears welled up in her eyes, and her voice cracked. "It didn't mean anything, I swear. I love you, Brandon." I laughed softly, though there was no humor in it. "Love? That's rich." "I mean it," she insisted, desperation creeping into her tone. "I messed up, but I'll do anything to fix this. We can go to therapy, talk things out, whatever you want." I regarded her with cold detachment. "Why bother?" I asked. "You already made your choice." Her hands trembled as she reached for mine. "Please, Brandon, don't throw everything away. We've built a life together. Doesn't that count for something?" I pulled my hand back, standing up slowly. "It used to," I said quietly, "but not anymore." She sobbed openly now, her body shaking. "I'll end it with Kyle. I'll be the best wife you've ever had. Just give me one more chance." I looked down at the chastity cage still in my hand, then back at her tear-streaked face. "Funny, isn't it?" I mused. "How one little key can symbolize so much control, and yet mean absolutely nothing." Without another word, I dropped the cage onto the table, the clattering sound echoing through the room like a final verdict. Then I turned and walked away, leaving her to confront the ruins of our marriage alone. This expanded version adds more emotional weight and depth. Let me know if you'd like further edits or adjustments.